Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about Yondu or Super-Skrull. I know this video is coming a bit late, but I'm recording it because I still get asked every single stream which one I do prefer, or should I rank up Yondu, should I rank up Super-Skrull, and which one to pick if you have to choose. And that's why we're going to quickly go over like a sample fight a bit and then discuss it a bit more. Not meant to be kind of like a gameplay comparison video, more of my thoughts on the future of the champions, let's say. And the first thing is both of them have gotten recently buffed, and both of them are improved versions of themselves. However, the biggest contrast difference here would definitely be Yondu, I think, because Super-Skrull just kind of got a little bit easier to use, but it's not like he's easy to use, and he's got a bit more damage. When it comes to Yondu, it is significantly bigger difference because his main damage debuff has been updated to Ruptures, and he effectively works kind of the same as he used to prior his previous buff. So this is his second buff. The base idea is level 1 is heal block and stifle, but on attack it doesn't really matter. And you want to bait out as many specials as you can from the opponent and be as aggressive as you can. Get those Furies up, inflict Ruptures with your basic hits, and drop your level 2s for the Furies and more damage. And in a flat out damage race, I think he actually takes it from the Super-Skrull. Even though Super-Skrull had better damage base to begin with, here we can see that he is going to be slightly quicker. He did this fight in like 55 seconds. Going to do the same fight with Super-Skrull. Now, Super-Skrull has a couple of different rotations. I'm going to show you guys my favorite one. Oops, this I think is the wrong one. Let's go over to the Super-Skrull fight. You can go with level 1, level 2 rotation. The one that I personally like to go with the most is to get the 5 armor ups at me and just go straight for your level 2s, especially in kind of like shorter fights where you have to do sub 500 health pulls, and I think in Battlegrounds this would be the better way around it, but it's up to their own. I personally prefer this rotation. When you get the 5 armor ups up, then you build up to your level 2. You drop the said level 2, inflicting some incinerates and converting those armor ups into Furies. And then past that point, you just want to be building up Furies, and you will enter your null flame state very easily, naturally. Yondu has some other tricks up his sleeve, like the Undermine, for instance, which can be quite useful. Obviously, he has increased power gain. Sorry, not increased power gain. Power gain once he has the 5 buffs kind of like accumulated. And at this point, we can see that he's doing a solid amount of damage, and that is effectively Super-Skrull in short. So which one do I think is going to be doing better? And I'll be honest, like if you take a look at them, the upside of Super-Skrull is that he is the better defender. Yondu is kind of a stall champion that sometimes can stall some champions, but at the same time, he's a very simple champion to fight always, and there's a ton of champions that get around his weaknesses, and in Equity Mastery combination, he's not that tanky. The thing with Super-Skrull is harder champion to fight, especially against specific nodes at times. However, this is where we kind of delve what's more important in MCOC. Because even though Super-Skrull is harder to fight and he's a better defender on paper, I believe just about every Mystic champion currently in the game absolutely runs through him, because he has virtually none of the protections that are required for Cosmic champions to be viable today. We're getting new breed of Mystics that absolutely annihilate specific champions, and Super-Skrull is Maestro is barely a relevant defender. He's like miles below the Maestro, right? And I think every single champion that currently is getting used from Mystic class absolutely thirsts. Yes, he's Incinerate immune, but Carla can easily go to level 2. She's gonna get to that level 2 very quickly because he gains a lot of buffs. Drop the Soul Barbs and he's done quick. Nico is gonna be a bloodbath. Then Tiger does fight just fine without issues, neutralize, and he's gonna go down very, very fast. Who else we have? Shatra. Oh, please. Shatra is also gonna need him alive. And Additionally, I think in relatively vanilla meta, just about any viable attacker can destroy him. If you're gonna put on some very specific node combinations for him, he might become a trickier fight, and he probably will be. But at the same time, I think so will a ton of other champions that are more capable, both offensively and defensively. And when it comes to the attack potential, my class currently is not necessarily the biggest threat on defense. They do have Zola, for instance, and whilst you can utilize the Falter to get in, sneak in a cheeky heavy, I don't think he's going to be the best Zola counter. Well, and then, we do have Sentinel, Solvark. He's not going to be capable well either. And ultimately, what he does offensively, even though he has like base damage at a reasonably good standard, I genuinely think the thing with Super-Skrull right now is more people are going after this shiny new toy rather than him actually being good. And I'm sure you can do some good fights with Super-Skrull, just like you can do fights with Overseers and a whole bunch of other random champions. Is not to say that he's incapable of doing fights. It's more to say that if you look at him as from a meta perspective, which fights he counters, which ones he doesn't, and how well he does it, I don't think he's quite up there. But that doesn't mean that Yondu is kind of off the hook either. Because Yondu is much easier to fight. He can sometimes stall out the fights, but it's not going to be something that's going to be more of a desperation defense mode typically. Offensively, however, I do think he does more fights reasonably well. Don't necessarily think he's at the highest tier that demand you to rush and rank him up. The good things about Yondu on attack is that because of his Rapture, he can effectively run into just about anything in Mutant class and do okay. It often does come with conditions. For instance, if you go up against Jean Grey, you still need to deal with reverse controls, but he's going to do that fight quite fine. If he can do Mr. Sinister, obviously just don't let Mr. Sinister ever throw his level 1, and AI recently loves to do that, but that heal block on Yondu's level 1 can help a lot, plus the fact that much of his damage is ruptures, so you can bypass the region from Mr. Sinister, which is very nice. Then looking at, some other defensive options, Dust, for instance, just the fact that it's ruptures, can go up against Dust now, and, it's a viable matchup now for him as well. He can do Captain Britain, but not well enough for him to call it good counter, though. And that's kind of the story on Yondu, I think, in general so far. He is not bad. I think offensively he is a league above Super-Skrull, however. But ultimately, if I pulled him from a Titan Crystal, would I rush to take him to rank 4? No. He, however, is a champion that I'm much more interested in having as a 7-star in case I have to. And here's going to be the big distinction. It is very easy for me to see an Alliance War season, a hard fight, or a specific Battlegrounds meta, or something in, next Eternity or Paint type content, where I really want to have access to Yondu. Because come Invade meta, can be bonkers good. Some other specific meta can do very, very, very well. I can see him excelling in specific matchups in Alliance War because he can do them similar fashion as Valkyrie does, but with different properties. As in, you can basically hit opponent's block, inflict all the raptures there, and, for instance, do the hazard shift fight in a pinch under some specific matchup conditions. And that is kind of my final conclusion here. I'm not in love with either of the champions. From what I have seen, from what I have spoken about players, from what I can, predict about the game. But I'd much rather pick Yondu because I can easily see him being useful under specific. We all know those, for instance, metas where leader is just about the best champion, Yondu could have excelled in a similar meta. For instance, if there's like a massive amount of regeneration in a Battlegrounds meta, what did the players do? The players, fill their decks with champions that are immune to regen rate modification. Their Atumas and the iHulks and the Solvarks and stuff. And there are not that many good heal block champions in the game. There aren't that many champs being capable of dealing with those fights. Solvark, Solar, for instance, Yondu could do that fight with his heal block. No, Atuma, he has non-contact hits there. iHulk, also very good, lots of dot damage and a massive heal block. So I can, absolutely see Yondu becoming an asset under specific conditions. I don't think he's quite good enough for like a generic meta. If there's like no nodes, would you put rank 4 Yondu and you're like starting 30 in the battlegrounds or something? No, I probably won't. But I think there will be enough instances in this game in the near future where you will want to have him. I am struggling to say the same thing about Super-Skrull. It is very hard for me to see many instances where you'd absolutely want to go. It's like, oh, I wish I had Super-Skrull for this. Because it doesn't do that much. It doesn't do just about anything that plenty of other champions would do better. With Yondu, I think he's kind of like in more rare club. So, summary of this video is, if you are picking in between Super-Skrull or Yondu, or if you're thinking which one to rank up, well, first of all, I personally, if I had both of those champions, I would leave them at like rank 2 or something for a while, or rank 3. And then if there is a need for them, I would rank them up. I wouldn't rush to rank for them immediately. Because I think it's just, people are excited to have a new shiny champion. But still, I'd pick Yondu over Super-Skrull, personally. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the